coaches will have a couple notes for you as well. But good job. That was fun. All right. As you guys can tell, less teaching, a little bit more playing. So we're coming in here to evaluate you guys, but we also want to give you a little bit of teaching stuff, and hopefully you can take away some stuff. It's great to learn different types of ways to play the game. Not your team might play a different way. We specifically, in practice, will put actions and plays in that we want to be able to guard that we will never run offensively as a team. We will put flex offense in. We will never run the flex offense as a program. But why do we put it in? Somebody tell me why we put it in our system. Why? So we can know how to defend it. Okay, I kind of gave that answer up. But yeah, we want to be able to guard it. You got to be able to guard cross screens and down screens, and you got to be able to bump and talk and communicate. All right, so it's good to learn ball screens. There's 20 ways to guard ball screens. All right, so you never know. You need to learn them all. Just because your team does it one way, you need to learn it all. All right, our coach always says the best way to guard a ball screen is to change it all the time. Change how you're guarding a ball screen all the time. So throughout a game, we'll guard a ball screen 4 or 5 different ways. Okay, so your knowledge is important. Coaches, what else? What do you got from today?
The talk's got to be better, guys. Like, that's something that it just makes it more fun. It shows us that you care. But there's a couple guys doing it, I think. But overall, I love seeing guys talk. It makes me feel excited. It makes me think you're excited. So just try, step out of your comfort zone a little bit. Give it a try.
Okay, great point. Coach Mann?
Some of you guys heard me say this, and I have a kind of a cheesy saying, but it's fun to have fun, all right? It's a Friday. You guys aren't at school. We're here playing basketball, right? Have fun being. Get excited for your teammates. Show so much fun to have fun. Now, Pete Carroll had one of my favorite quotes when he took over the Seattle Seahawks. In his first player meeting, he told the players, tomorrow you show up to practice with enthusiasm, and if you're not enthusiastic, you better fake it until you figure it out. And it's true. It's so contagious. Start high-fiving your teammates. Try and get 100 high fives and butt slaps in the next session, and watch how much louder it gets in this gym. So as cheesy as it is, guys, it's fun to have fun. So let's have fun in this next session too, all right?
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Good. Anything else?
Yeah, this is a showcase, guys, and you want to show well, but you're going to need your teammates. It's a team sport. So even if you don't know them, you got to talk to them before the drill. High-five them, let them know who you are, because if you work together, you're going to win most of your drills. That's the goal. So just bring it for this next session.
Okay, fantastic. If you guys have questions, ask, all right? I'm sure it went great upstairs. If you guys have mobility questions or strength questions, ask Coach Taylor, ask his crew, ask these guys, all right? Ask all the coaches in here. We've been to great places and got to see a lot. So make sure before you leave camp tomorrow that you're asking if you have something, all right? Or email us. But I wanted to talk about a couple of things real quick. It'll be 5 minutes and we'll get you out to lunch, all right? And it's funny because every time a speech comes up, every time an opportunity comes up to talk, things change. My mindset changes. One year, I'm really interested in talking about a certain concept on offense or defense or a certain type of mindset, and it changes and it changes. And so I wanted to give you guys some ideas on where my mind has gone the last couple of weeks, what I'm pushing forward with our guys in our program, and what I'm going to push forward when I work with high school players throughout the whole year. So some things for you guys to think about, all right? Coach Heyer just said it, and Coach Heyer's played at the highest level, all right? Played at Boise State, played at, I think he's played at NC State and Arizona and in the NCAA tournament, all right? So he's not just lying. Communication is huge, all right? You got to be able to learn the language. Basketball is a language, and you got to learn it. If you can't speak it, you will get left behind. Just like going to a math class and not understanding how to speak math or history or a foreign country. All right? You've got to learn the terminology. So when you're hearing it in drills, when you're hearing it in practice, you got to speak it. You got to use it. All right? There's a great book out right now called Legacy. It's about the rugby team in New Zealand, the All Blacks. Fantastic book about leadership. And it talks about that revolutions are created by language. Revolutions are created by language. So think about that. Maybe your team had a mediocre year last year and you want to take that next step and be elite. Maybe it's just a little bit of language. It's the language you use. For us, I'm going to ask them, I'm putting them on the spot. Coach Mike and Coach Andy, tell me one defensive word that we use to create culture in our program. Boom, sticky. Coach Mike already knows it. We use the word sticky in our program, and our guys get absolutely juiced for it. That's language, and it's created a revolution for us. We were ranked number 2 in the country in defense at one point last year because our guys are buying into it. They know what sticky means. It means charges. It means diving for loose balls. It means guarding the action the way we taught it. It means being tough and rebounding. That's what sticky means. It's created a revolution in our program, all right? So you guys got to be able to learn how to speak, not just basketball, but our language of English too, or Spanish, or French, or whatever it is, whatever community you're in, all right? Something for you to think about. Here's a big concept that's been popping up for me a lot, taking new guys and putting them in new leadership roles that they did not ask to be in. You seniors didn't necessarily ask to be leaders, but guess what? You are because you're a senior. Like it or not, you have to be a leader, all right? And you're going to go through those changes throughout your life. And I hear this all the time recently from a lot of people that I work with. You're asking them to be a leader. Well, what does leadership mean? Everybody thinks leadership means screaming and yelling. There's so many different types of leadership, all right? So one, you got to learn different types of leadership, but two, you got to be willing to take on that responsibility. Here's what I hear all the time. I'm asking a guy, hey, you got to talk. Hey, you got to bring it to practice. Hey, you got to give out more high fives as a leader. And you know what they tell me all the time? Coach, that's not me. That's not me. That's not who I am. So it's really hard. I don't feel comfortable doing that. Well, guess what? We're talking about being special, or we're talking about just being who you are. Special has some requirements. Being elite has some requirements. Being a champion has requirements. And you've got to find that middle ground, and you've got to shift over and start learning what it takes to be special, not what it takes to be you. Get out of your comfort zone and stop saying all the time, well, that's just not me. I'm just not a vocal guy. Well, I'm not asking you to yell and scream. I'm asking you just to learn how to communicate a little bit better. Maybe I'm just asking you to bring it a little bit more to practice. All right? I always tell our guys this. Our great is up here, and for a lot of guys, your bad is down here. If we can get our bad to here and let our great shine through, then we're great. I mean, that's going to be fantastic, all right? We just want to get rid of this really bad. As you get older in life, you'll learn how to get this part to here. Your great's always going to be fantastic. That's why you guys are good players. It's always up here. But we want to get this down here from being noticeable to unnoticeable. You're not going to have a great day every day, but you got to be able to. Special's over here. Being yourself is over here. If you say you want to be special, then you've got to come over here and meet the requirements. All right? Hopefully that makes sense. Another thing I heard, we just had a coaches clinic last week, and we had Randy Ray, the head coach at Weber State. He's won a bunch of Big Sky Conference championships, has been in the NCAA tournament, Coach Damian Lillard, all those guys. He said a fantastic thing the other day. He said, if you can't bring it every day, if you can't bring the juice, bring the energy, bring your effort every single day, you are not a winner. Simple as that. That's all he said. You got to bring it every day. You can't just come once or twice a week and think you're special. You got to bring it every single day. So you got to bring it to the next session, and then you got to bring it to our last session with energy and effort. You may not know your teammates' names. You may not know exactly what we're doing offensively or defensively. That does not mean that you cannot play as hard as you possibly can and get excited for your teammates. You got to bring it every day. He said, if you can't bring it every day, you are not a winner. You are not a winner. That's Randy Ray saying it. That was not me. That meant a lot to me. That made sense to me, all right? Here's the last thing I want to tell you guys about, and I mentioned this before. You got to start figuring out who's helping you in life. Who is helping you, all right? And what impact are you making on everybody? Today, you might think that you're playing in front of College of Idaho. You might think that you're playing in front of Treasure Valley Community College, Coach Zim. You might think that you're playing in front of NNU, but you're not. I promise you, you're not. Guess who you're playing in front of today? Does anybody know who you're playing in front of? Teammates? Maybe. Here's who you're playing in front of. Colby Blaine, Rob Heyer, Chad Mann, Michael Johnson, Andy Harrington, Coach Zimmerman, all of our off-the-field guys. As individuals, you're playing in front of people. You're playing in front of Paul Rush. All right, you're not playing for programs today. I now, as an individual, get to make a decision on how I represent you in the world. Somebody might call me and say, hey, so-and-so was at that showcase. What did you think of him? And I'm going to have a choice to say, here's what I thought. Here's what I thought. Was he good? Was he not as great? Did he bring it? Here's what he does well. Here's what he struggles with. As an individual, I get to make that choice, what I'm going to say. So every day you are making an impact on those who are going to help you, right? So when you go through that lunch line and you get mad because they made egg salad sandwich, which you don't like, right? And you let them know about it, that you never know how that's going to come back. You never know, all right? You never know how any of these off the field guys are going to be able to help you. And you actually mentioned you're playing in front of teammates, right? Is that what you said? You never know how this group's going to come back to help you. Andy Harrington, right here, was our ball boy. When I was in 9th grade, I played for his dad, and he was our ball boy, and he was in 4th grade, and he bawled his eyes out when we lost the city championship, all right? But I got to know Andy back in school, and now all of a sudden an opportunity's opened up where we had a spot to fill, and the first phone call is to Andy Harrington. You never know who's going to be able to help you. So lessons are, bring it every day, be great to everybody, all right? Because they are representing you as an individual, not as a program. You're not playing in front of College of Idaho today, I promise you. All right? Hopefully that makes sense to you. Keep being good to people. Great job today. Coach, we're back at 1.
Yes, at noon, I'll do that recruiting
Correct.
101. It's totally voluntary. If you want to come and get the information that I can tell you I've learned over the years, that is awesome. You can bring lunch. Like, in other words, I don't care if you're eating while I'm talking. We'll just do it right over here. It's more of a Q&A session. And again, I'm just going to give you information of, again, what coaches are looking for, what scholarships are where, some things to be proactive, etc. Some of you guys may have heard it. Might be a good catch-up. But again, don't feel obligated to come. And also, let's make sure these guys can be ready to go. But yes, definitely 100% be here at 1 o'clock.
Fantastic. Okay, if you have questions, come ask us. Let's clap it up for our off the field guys. All right.